I appreciate a lot competence, doing things well. Anything you do, do well. Do well with thought. I was very impressed. Maishi ran in yeshiva as a mashal that those beast game or Ari Litzman game, and it was done well. It was thought out. We had a chevra who spoke, and things were like exact. 100 guys to 70, and everything was like very thought out. How it would look. I like when things are done with a lot of machshava, with thought. In all different areas of life, that people are planned and thought and work through and have a plan. That I appreciate things done like that. And in general, people could do things well, and to do something very well, I appreciate. One of the things that successful people do, and Rabbi Oberlander, Zechreinu Levracha, Rabbi Oberlander, when we ran the yeshiva together, was very good at this. Rabbi Brownstein's very good at this. Is after we run an event, besides before you run an event, after you run an event, you analyze what happened, what worked, what didn't work. That's what successful people do, and that enables you to run the next event better. So you make a beautiful Shabbos and you put a lot of effort. It's sometimes hard for me. Right, Oberlander, right after, we would make a Shabbos every year for years. Right after Shabbos, he wanted to sit down to discuss what went well, what didn't, and it was hard for me. I just put in a lot over the Shabbos, and it wasn't so easy, but I like it that he was very organized, and he wants it to be good, so there's a plan, to sit down, he would want to right away talk about it. Rabbi Brownstein does that. Rabbi Brownstein is very careful that we run something to ask what didn't work, what could we do better. After Sulam, he thinks over what worked, what didn't work, how can we do it better. So that's like a natural thing that people do, organized people do. There's a version of this that I'm a little bit allergic to. There's a lot of commissions, guys, that Eretz Yisrael is running to figure out what were the things that allowed for October 7th to happen. What were the failures? Where was the IDF? These are inquiries. Now, I am not challenging that it's done, because in the world of Ishtadlus, in the world of efforts, they want to figure out what can we do better next time. And there is such a world of Ishtadlus, but I want to tell you, I have been very much paying attention. Obviously, like all of Klal Yisrael, we're paying attention to what's going on in Eretz Yisrael. And I'm reading about the hostages and davening and I'm involved. It's on my mind, obviously. I have not read one article. Anytime I see the headline on these inquiries, and they're coming out now, with studies, with reports of what went wrong, I haven't read one article. If I see that as the heading of the article, I read the next article. Now, why is that bad? I don't think it's our sugya as Am Yisrael. And there's a certain, I don't want to say arrogance, because there's a need. America, lahavdil, after 9/11, so America had to ask, how did this happen? And there's room for such an inquiry. But any thinking person knows these events are from Hashem. They're bigger than us. It doesn't mean you shouldn't do an inquiry, by the way. It doesn't mean it shouldn't be done. It's not our sugya. Of course, somebody who has a shtadlus has to ask, what can we do? But also you have to have a deep understanding that Hashem runs the world. And we're in His hands, and there's a certain emunah, faith, that's a truth. What can we do? Why? The Rebbeinu Shalom runs the world. Now again, somebody has to do, that's normal shtadlus for somebody to say, but what's our efforts? But as a member of Klal Yisrael, I ignore these articles, because our job is to know that the Rebbeinu Shalom runs the world. A certain faith, certain things are bigger than us, events. So it's a tricky balance. Chazal, this parsha, we're going to read the parsha of Amalek. And Chazal ask, I'm not going there.
Oh, sorry.
Chazal ask, that's a good point. But Chazal ask, Rishonim and Achrayim ask, They have their own inquiry. What allows Amalek to attack us?
Oh, sorry.
What allows, what did we do wrong that led Amalek? Now, Chazal have a very different view than what was the security breakdown, who didn't do their job well, who done it. Chazal have much deeper eyes. They have deep einayim in their inquiry. When they try to find out how did it happen, they have much deeper einayim, much deeper eyes. And the Kli Yakar writes, Amalek attacks us in Refidim. B'Refidim they attack us. Says the Kli Yakar, the Oisios Refidim are the same as Preda. Pirud. Same as Pirud, separation. And the Kli Yakar writes that what allows Amalek, great to see you, Yomi, what allows Amalek to attack us, great to see you, Gersh. What allows Amalek to attack us, says the Kli Yakar, is Klal Yisrael's division. What allows Amalek to attack us is division in our people. They attacked us Vayilachem Yisrael b'Refidim. They attacked us in Refidim means that what was existed by us is period, separation, division. We will wait to divide it, and that allows for Amalek to attack. A matter of fact, the Gra writes in Even Shloima that the shayresh of Amalek is machlokes, that the root of Amalek is division in Klal Yisrael. Where we're divisive, there's room for Amalek. That type of eyes I like. That's a deeper inquiry. Had it happened, not a physical view, it's the Rabbi Shalom, it's bigger than us. But spiritually, how could such a thing be? Says the Kli Yakar, when we have period beinenu, that gives room and allows Amalek to attack, and we have division. But I want to express something. There's a beauty. I'm going to tell you.
What's the other one?
What?
There's two reasons. What was the first reason?
I'm just saying this reason. Oh, this one. I'm going to share Rabbanim in a minute. Rabbanim of Shescha, Naira. Yaakov, we have a beautiful thing in our people, diversity. Diversity is wonderful. We have Lubavitch, Satmar, we have Sfard, Ashkenaz, Haredi, Mizrahi, beautiful. It's like so different Rebbeim, Litvish, Yeshivish. We have all different things, excellent. No, Chas Hashem, Litvish, Litvak, amazing. We have all different styles of Avodas Hashem, and that's wonderful. We have yeshivas, Chavetz Chaim Berlin, Philly, great, so nice. It's really wonderful. Very important is not to take these man-made constructs, different ways of serving Hashem, for sure, but not to forget that deeper than all that, there's something called the Yid.
Wow.
We're all very much connected. We're Yid, a Yehudi. Sometimes in our own Messiah, and it's wonderful to have Shvatim, but always the Shvatim had to remember Yehudi. Deeper, if you're thinking Shas is full of machloksim, the whole Shas is debates. You know how much two Tanaim and Amiram agree with each other? You know how much more they agree than they argue? They both agree to, if you ever find the machlokes in Shas, if you once do this with your chavrusa, you should go through all the things they agree on. It's like crazy. It boils down to like a small machlokes, and there's different ways. But beside the amount of things that we agree on, and the deepest space yet is Yid and Yid. Amalek flourishes when there's division in our people. We don't recognize Yid and Yid. When there's period. I want to share with you an incredible Rabbanim of Shescha, and share as follows. The Gemara Sanhedrin Daf Chaf, the Gemara says that we only have a tzivui to wipe out Amalek after we have a melech. If we have no king, we have no tzivui to wipe out Amalek. That's the Gemara in Sanhedrin. Ask Rabbanim of Shescha, why is there Tali? Why is wiping out Amalek Tali and a melech? Why is dependent on a king? What do you need a king for to wipe out Amalek? Now you could taina that without a king we don't have an army, but then say if we have an army, if it's biyadenu. It's mivur in the Gemara, it's Tali and a melech. It's dependent on a king. We have a king, we wipe out Amalek. Said Rabbanim of Shescha, the job of a melech is to give a space to everybody in his kingdom. That's what Malchus does. It gives a space. Every Eved is an Eved Lamelech, means there's Avodah, means there's a task for him. He has a space in the Malchus. The job of a Melech is to be Ma'agid Kol Ha'am, is to unify. It says about David HaMelech, is Levava, is Levav Ha'am. The job of a Melech is to give space to every single person. That's the job of a Melech. I have a pet thing that bothers me. I have something that bothers me. If we ever ask kids to do things, and if you ask your child, write down this, and you don't give him a pen, that bothers me. How can you tell him write? He has no pen to write. It bothers me when we demand things and we don't give the tools to do those things. I have seen environments that we demand from people to get along. Why don't you all get along? Do you know if there's not space? Could you imagine a law school where everybody competes grades? Some law schools work that only the top third of the class graduates. So if he does well, it's bad for me. If I do well, it's bad for him. You can't ask people to get along, then he's my enemy. Daven for the other guy to do well. No, if he does well, it's bad for me. So don't ask for unity. You set up that everybody's competing. If you have an environment that there's not space for every single person, stop asking for unity. If there's the spitz guy, he's the best guy. Then there's number 2, number 3, please stop asking for unity in your environment. If you rate people and it's the best and you're all competing to be him, so then stop asking for unity, knock it off. It bothers me a lot. In an environment that doesn't have space for people, stop asking people to get along. It's like so silly. You're being silly. You want people to get along, but there's no tools to get along. They're competing to be him. If there's space for every person, each neshama, each so then in that place you can ask people to get along. The job of Malchus is there's space for every single person in the Malchus. Said Rabbanim of Shescha, Amalek is about division, about period, about separation of Yidden. There's not room for everybody. You only have a chiyuv to eradicate Amalek. You only have the possibility of eradicating Amalek if you have a melech. If you have a matzav with a space for every single person, so then and only then could you eradicate Amalek. But that's the necessary, if there's a melech, so there's space for every single person. Then I want to make a claim, guys. Anybody could study. Moshe and I spoke about this. You could study Durham. The shofar is retarded, what it means. It's crazy what it means for Yid in the shofar. It's crazy. Guys in the dorms, Moshe told me, guys in the dorm would say, Moshe, make sure I hear the shofar. Moshe was thinking, you're not like running for too much. Amazing how many guys want to hear the shofar. It's remarkable. Somebody could study it. I wonder to myself, what's this that the shofar captures Yidden? Little children are excited about the shofar. The shofar is the Malchus Shamayim. Hashem's the Melech, and the invitation and ask to be Mamlech Hashem means and says to a Yid, you have a space in this Malchus. There's room for you. Shofar and being invited, which every Yid is asked to be Mamlech Hashem, means you have a space in Malchus Hashem. That's what it means, a Melech. There's space for each person. So of course a Yid responds to the shofar. It says there's room for the Yid. Wherever there's room for us, there we show up. People ask, what's Durham? What's Waterbury? What is it? I just came back with Schleimwich. What's Waterbury? There's space for people. There's space for people. There's really space for people, real. There's space for a person. A person can come and there's mamish space for you. Says Rabbanim, that's why when there's a melech, then you can eradicate Amalek. If there's space for the entirety of our people, in that space you could fight Amalek. If there's no melech, there's no space for every Yid, there's no malchus, so then you can't eradicate Amalek. You don't have the kalim to. Amalek survives and thrives on period, on separation of our people, on division. When we're not makir, Yid and Yid, I connect to you, I relate to you, two Yidden. When we're not makir that space, and then there's division. I was zeicher to go with Shlomo, with Yehuda, with Aaron Smilowitz, with Mo Muller. We were zeicher to go travel, a group of friends. We were zeicher to go to Cleveland, and we met many hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Yidden. And we felt, I could say from Shem, we all felt like very connected, from different yeshivas, different types, different backgrounds. We felt very, very close to Yidden. It's interesting, the Sfas Emes says, when Esther Amalka wants to defeat Haman, Haman's Mizera Amalek comes from Amalek. Amalek thrives on division of Yidden, separation. What does Haman say about the Jewish people? Am Echad Mifuzar Umifayra, that word parid, separate. That same word refidim. Am Echad Mifuzar Umifurad Bein Amim. There's division in Klal Yisrael. They're ripe to attack. What does Esther Amalka say when she wants her and Mordechai to defend our people? Lech kinois kol yudim, gather them together. The Sfas Emes says the way to defeat Amalek is kinois kol, gather them together. Yidden says, two Yidden. I sat on the plane to Cleveland, and the whole reason we're going to Cleveland is Yidden. I sat next to David, another Yid. We were two musicians. I was carrying around the guitar. So I was acting like a musician. My friendship with Yehuda, with Shlomo, lets me dream that I'm some sort of musician. I'm a Levi, and I'm friends with musicians. So, and Lemaisa, I was next to David, and he was a musician also, but it was two Yidden that we were pals. We flew zusammen, me and David, to Cleveland. A Yid, two Yidden. A Yid not to create connection. I shouldn't say to create, it's an emes, it's a truth. I told the Chaver, I've said this a lot here, that Keith Siegel was making mezainis. He was making Baruch Atah Hashem mezainis. I found out the story, Maish. Keith Siegel, in captivity in Gaza, started chapping on a Yid. It means something. It hit him, it dawned on this Yid, Yesh Mashma'ot. It means something, Ich bin a Yid. He started chapping, I'm a Yid. But he didn't know what to do with it. What do I do with that? He felt it means something. He was literally mechaven to the Torah. It's amazing. Yisrael v'Yirei Sechadu. He's mechaven to the Torah. He felt he was a Yid and didn't know what to do with it. Comes Hamas, and Hamas made him watch a video. There was a news broadcast in Eretz Yisrael, and Rahman al-Itzlan, 10 soldiers were nifter. And Hamas wanted Keith Siegel, they wanted to hurt a Yid, they wanted to start up with a Yid, and they made him watch the video to suggest, to see 10 Yidden were nifter, and to suggest that the Yidden were losing the war. He's in captivity, I knew nothing what's going on, and they made him watch this video. Somehow on the video, some Yid made him a Zionist. I don't know who, Maish. I don't know if the newscaster or if it was like Rand. I don't know who. He watching television. They did it to terrorize Keith Siegel. And somehow he heard Mezainis and he found it. He's like, I'm a Yid, I should make him a Zionist. The Torah says that a bris milah marks that I'm a Yid, and we're the nation who thanks Hashem, who's Meshabeach Hashem. So it means to be a Yid. The Torah writes that we're Meshabeach Hashem, we're Yidden. The very name Yehudi, the Sfas Emes says, means to be Moed al Davar Gadol, Davar Gadol. Our very name is we're thankers, we're Yehudim, we're thankers. Amazing. Keith Siegel figured it out. So he started making a mezainis. Every drink he took in Gaza, he made a mezainis. He said, Baruch Atah Hashem, L'keinu melech haolam b'rei minei mezainis, and he drank. B'rei minei mezainis, and he ate. Everything he ate and drank, he made a mezainis. I heard Keith Siegel say this, he ate and drank, he made a mezainis. Keith Siegel's mezainis there. The Hamas guy says to Keith Siegel when he makes a mezainis, he says, Atolodati, sicko. If Keith Siegel didn't say what he said back, the guy said, Atolodati. What I want Keith Siegel is to say, Rebbe, you taught me, you awakened, ich bin a Yid. Dati, like different categories, my Chasidi, Misnagdi, Litvishi, Ani Yehudi. Ich bin a Yid. A Yid is Mishabeach Hashem. Hamas said to him, Atolo dati. He didn't know, I'm a Yid. Ich bin a Yid. I'm a Yid, what do you mean? And he started, and Keith Siegel started making Berei Menei Messiahs. I've been trying to make better brachas from Keith Siegel. Keith Siegel's me. I learned about a Yid. When a Yid was like stripped away of a lot of nonsense, you know what the Yid did? He made Messiahs. Baruch atah Hashem. L'kenem al cholam Berei Menei Messiahs. Keith Siegel. Hail the Yid. I want to make brachas b'kavana. Yid's mishabech. Thank you Hashem. Baruch atah Hashem. L'kenem al cholam shakol liyeh b'dvarim. Yid's mishabech. He said, Yesh mashmoot liyot Yehudi. There's a pshat. It means something to be a Yid. Esther Amalka said to Mordechai, and the Sfas Emes says this, that to fight Haman functions and flourish. That's the Amalek inquiry. What allows Amalek to flourish is period amongst Yidden. We get too caught up in differences. We get too divisive with each other. This type, it's good we have different types. Be Lubavitch proudly, be Satmar proudly, be Svardi, be Litvish proudly. Excellent. But also see deep Yehudi, a Yid. Don't just see another Yid, two Yidden, Geschmack, two Yidden. It means something, it says something, it's something, it's the deepest space inside of us. Yeah. So what does Esther Amalka say? Says the Sfas Emes, to fight Haman Lech Kenais Kol Yehudim, gather the Yidden together, bring them together, create a unity, create a oneness in our people. You create a unity in our people, a oneness in our people, Lech Kenais Kol Yehudim. In that setting, we could defeat Amalek. With that background, that's the inquiry. That's what Kliyakar's inquiry into what allows for Amalek is period. What allows for defeat of Amalek is the togetherness of Yidden. So I want to share this with the guys here. I happen to love going to environments. There's certain shuls around our people that unite Yidden. There's shuls in different communities. I don't want to speak. I'm not going to give like the ratings of shuls. Every shul's a special place. But I have a tremendous chiba for yeshivas and shuls and environments that like break a certain barrier, that just say, here a Yid is wanted. I've said many times the Chav Yerushalayim is Nidche Yisrael Yechanes. Here a Yid's wanted. I love the shuls and environment around our people that just say, here, you're a Yid. You're one of us. I'll tell you something funny. A guy was telling me, in his community, in Eretz Yisrael, there were shuls. One was called, they called them, there was a name for it, for like the alumni of Mir was one shul. Alumni of Panovich was another shul. There were beautiful shuls in Kiryat Sefer. This beautiful city in Ir Ve'em B'Yisrael, very Torah city, and there was like a shul. There was a name for it in Hebrew, like the alumni of Chevron, beautiful yeshiva, the alumni of Mir, the alumni of Panovich, of Brisk, and beautiful shuls. So a guy told me in my shul, a guy told me this in Kiryat Sefer, those shuls are all precious. It's beautiful. Chevron makes a shul is something beautiful. Halavai to daven there is a schos gadol. Chevron, the great Chevron yeshiva, Neira, the great Panovich yeshiva. But a guy told me my shul is Yotzei Mitzrayim. Here, all those who left Egypt. It's all like he had this. He used the same word. Like I think they call Bogre. There was like a name for the graduates. He said these are the graduates who left Egypt. Yid's wanted. It's not to knock the shul of the Chevroners, daven in that shul. That's us Chevroners. Us Panovich Yidden, all good. As long as we also see that there's something called Yotzei Mitzrayim, or Yehudi. We see that there's something deeper that unites us and binds us. Geschmack that we're people who graduated Chevron. Excellent. And geschmack that we celebrate it, we're proud that us Briskers, us Mirrors, us Panovichers, us beautiful. But deeper yet is us Yotzei Mitzrayim, is the Yehudim. That bonds us and unites us and relates us and connects us in a deep way. That's what Esther Amalka said, Lech Knais Kol Yehudim. That's what Rabbi Pshescha said, is the melech that allows for the defeat of Amalek. So I wanted to share this with the Chevra. We're going to a parish as a mitzvah to remember what Amalek did to us. I think the inquiry turns up also what allowed Amalek to do refidim, preda, periods, differentiation, separation, too much unrelating to each other for superficial reasons. If we could see deeper and see better, see Yehudim, that's a space that allows for the defeat of Amalek. It's interesting. I want to say, like, we were Zeicha, Shlomo and I, we were Zeicha to go around Yehuda, Aaron, Mo Muller. We were Zeicha to go around. The amount that we are similar, when you see Yidden in different communities, from different backgrounds, the amount that we're similar is startling. Our differences are subtle, are small, and it's beautiful that there's different ways to serve Hashem. It's beautiful. But when you just connect and see it with better einayim, you see our similarities are so deep and run so deep. We have so much to share and connect over and connect with and to bond with. That's what you end up finding when you go with einayim. We sing in yeshiva, we sing the Barditchev and Niggin a lot. Rav Levi Yitzchak Barditchev. What the Rav Levi Yitzchak had very good einayim. People have a Lev bus are very physical eyes. Somebody was telling me in Svarim about einayim shel ruach, like deeper eyes, more profound eyes. Rav Levi Yitzchak had beautiful eyes. If you have very superficial eyes, all you could see is categories of Yidden. This yarmulke, that type of payas. It's very superficial eyes. This type of suit, what color suit the guy wears? If you have einayim shel ruach, you have deeper eyes. The Barditchev had beautiful einayim. He saw a Yid, and he saw a Yid for what a Yid is. He appreciated a Yid. Eventually, what he saw in the Yid was able to see in the Yid.
Yep.
But that's my hope, is that my tefillah. Rab Nachman says to turn a lot of your Torah into a tefillah. My tefillah, Chevra, is that Hashem should give us all. We want to eradicate Amalek and forces that operate when there's division in our people. Hashem should give us all good einayim, to see ourselves as a Yid and to see somebody else. Yehudi is doch a Yid. There's tremendous amounts to learn from him. Hashem should give us all very good einayim. Should we, Rav Ezi, do the halachos right here and now?
What is the Elam Taina?
What do you say?
Why not?
I think we
That's
should.
That's not a reason, right? Yeah!
Much better.
From a
Much
why
better.
not? Have we go?
Bleib da garnished. Chevra, I'll tell you what I want to do. I'll tell you why I'm doing it now. Why, Chevra? Why are we sitting? If the guys are masking to me, listen. If everybody can listen, today is Wednesday, March 5th, and Purim is not till next week, Friday. So really, we could wait further. We could do closer to Purim, learn the halachas of Purim. I want guys to start preparing and thinking about Shalach Manas now. I don't want to get, it bothers me. Mitzvahs, to me, the mitzvah of Shalach Manas is like, wow. It's from my favorite mitzvahs around. It bothers me, a guy wakes up, he's yaitz the mitzvah. He did the mitzvah. He's drunk in a car, so he didn't give any Shalach Manas. So he has a candy and something else. He gives to his friend, he gives it back to him. It bothers me that the guy didn't prepare his mitzvah. To me, a guy gives Shalach Manas, give for your flair, your style, your connection. It's a mitzvah. We're born for mitzvahs. A guy should do it in a beautiful life and should give the mitzvah. So I asked Rav Ezi to give us the halachos, to start preparing so guys could think about it. There are 4 mitzvahs, like I said, there are 4 mitzvahs to think about on Purim. There's Kriyas HaMegillah is one mitzvah we have to think about, by night and by day. There's Shalach Manos, and what that obligation is. Matanos Lavyanim, gifts to a poor person, to poor people, I should say, plural. And Mishta, party, a Suda, including drinking yayin. It's a Mishta yayin. Those are the 4 mitzvahs that a Yid thinks about on Purim. I asked Rav Ezi to prepare to share with us the basic. It will not be long, 15, 20 minutes. Bez Hashem, it's 3:05. It'll be 20 minutes. But I asked Rav Ezi to share with the Chevra some of the halachas that the guys can. We'll start at least for 20 minutes now, that we can learn some of the halachas. Mamish for 20 minutes, it's 3:05. Let's learn some of the halachas that are coming. This way we can prepare. We have to prepare the halachas, then we get the machshavas, the inyan of it. So without further ado, I ask Rav Ezi to introduce us to some of the halachas that are coming fast upon us.